So this is one of the things that's so important right now on the earth, is for us to really ground ourselves to the earth, because there's so much going on in the world, and there's so much that's shifting and changing, and I'm going to talk about that. But that's why I wanted to do this at the beginning, for you to really just get to experience what it's like to be in your pillar of light. So I wanted to touch upon some important transitions and full moons coming up. And right now on the earth, with the intensified energies and the magnetic energy and frequency of the earth changing so rapidly, now more than ever, not that it wasn't important before, but more than ever, honoring the sacred passages of the moon, the full moons, the new moons, the different astrological passages, the season, changing of the seasons, they're all really super powerful right now. So whatever you can do to join in meditation with others, in sacred ceremony, even just with yourself at home. There's many global link-ups now. So the one I wanted to talk about is coming up on May 5th, and that's the Wesak full moon. And the Wesak full moon is considered the most powerful full moon of the year in many traditions. It's a time when, for years and years, initiates have gathered in the Wesak Valley of the Himalayan mountains to open themselves and to receive the incoming energies during this full moon. So this full moon is going to be at 11:35 p.m. That's next Saturday on May 5th. And what it is it's connected to, it's the full moon when the Buddha was born, attained enlightenment, and left earthly incarnation. And it's a time when every year the Buddha returns, the energy of the Buddha comes to pour down the light from the higher realms and the dispensations. So beings across the earth gather. Mount Shasta has been doing gatherings for years and years around at this full moon. And all over the earth, people gather to honor this, to open their hearts to receive these blessings. So I just wanted to bring that into our awareness. And Leo talked about the eclipses. The first, the solar eclipse, the reason I wanted to bring our awareness to it is not only is it an eclipse, but it's also at that time there's going to be an alignment with the Pleiades at the same time as the eclipse. So, as people know, eclipses have a profound effect on all of us. And also very much so on the Earth's grid and the ley lines. So, and it's a time when things can be released. So negative imprints, negative patterns can be released. So what's interesting about this eclipse is that it follows a path over Mount Fuji in Japan and then Mount Shasta, which is called the plumed serpent line. It's one of the it's a masculine grid on the earth. And what it's going to be doing in its pathway is clearing a lot of the energies, negative energies, where there's been World War II. It's going to be clearing a lot of that energy. So, and really, there's going to be huge gatherings in Mount Shasta. And I think the pathway comes through Mount Shasta and then down through the southwest this year. So, so it is believed that a lot of old thought forms are going to be released during this eclipse. Any old patterns that are held within the grids of the earth are going to be cleansed too. And with the Pleiades, to the Maya, the Pleiades is really important. To the Maya, the Pleiades represent a handful of maize seeds from which the original humans were born. So, and these seeds are symbolically replanted in the earth at the beginning of each new sun cycle of 5,125 years, which is where we're at right now as we make this transition on the earth. We are moving into what the Mayans call the fifth sun, and into a new cycle of 5,125 years. So, so the Pleiades is going to be aligned with the sun and the moon at this eclipse. So the more that you can release any old thought forms, emotional patterns that you need to release, is going to be a really powerful time to do that at that eclipse. And the Pleiades are going to help bring in the new, because the Pleiades are going to be aligned with the eclipse, they're going to help bring in this new seeds for the new consciousness. So in your meditations, it'd be a really good idea to be with what are those new seeds that you want to have planted and see planted on the earth for the new consciousness, for this time we're moving into of unity and oneness on the earth. Then we have the second eclipse, which Leo talked about, and right after, the day after that eclipse, is the transit of Venus on June 5th, and I want to talk just a little bit about that. The passage of Venus, it happens in pairs every 113 years, and they always occur, I believe, when Venus is retrograde, and they're always in either Gemini or Sagittarius, which is very interesting. And so what it is, it's where Venus passes in front of the sun, like an eclipse, only it's very small. It's not really an eclipse, but it's like a transit. And what happens during those Venus passages is the sun, on a symbolic, spiritual level, is beaming light from Venus to the earth. And Venus, as many of us know, is the planet of love. It's the planet of the feminine in a lot of ways, the divine feminine. So harmony, balance, peace. So it's a very powerful time. And it comes in pairs. And the first one was, during this period in our lifetime, was on June 8th, 2004. And this is the conclusion of that passage of Venus, of which time many things have healed and been brought to the surface during this period of time on the earth, as we can all attest to over the last, is it 8 years? Yes.
We just come out here, probably.
And we moved here and did, I think that was our first ceremony we did here, was on at the Venus transit on the Eastern Prom. And this year, I'm going to be doing a ceremony on the day of the Venus passage at the Western Prom. So, because it's going to be visible at the end of the day. When we first got here, the first one was near sunrise.
When will that
It's going to be June 5th. Yes.
Could you tell us what the date was for the first eclipse?
You mean the first passage? Or
No, the eclipse.
Oh,
May
the
20th.
eclipse. The first one
May
is May 20th. Right. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. So, let me see if there's anything else to say. So, to the Maya, too, planet Venus is a very important planet because it's the sister planet of our Earth. And the Earth and Venus are very much linked, so it's very significant. Venus is considered a cosmic mirror for the Earth. So during this time, it's really good to, really open our hearts and really just let in the energies of this time. I'm going to take my sweater off. I'm very hot up here. So things are going to be heating up. Just like I am right now. So during this Venus passage is another opportunity to release old patterns in relationships and to set your new intentions for relationship, for love, for being in sacred relationship with all of life, with all beings, with the earth, with the universe, with the elements. So it's a really good time for that during that Venus passage. And then, I'm realizing I'm not going to have that much time to get very far in my notes, but everyone probably wants to know more about December 21st, 2012, which is the thing that most people write about. According to Kalaman and many Mayan astrologers, the Mayan calendar actually completed on October 28th, 2011. But there is a significant transition on December 21st. And what that is at sunrise, for the first time in 26,000 years, the sun is going to rise to conjunct the intersection of the Milky Way and the plane of the ecliptic of the Earth, which forms a cosmic cross, or what's also called the sacred tree or the tree of life. So that's what is so significant about that date. And it's in alignment with the Hunab Ku, which is the center of our galaxy. The center of the Milky Way galaxy is what's called the Hunab Ku. So many people say, is the world going to end? No, the world's not going to end. It's going to be a letting go of the old world, the old earth, for the birth of the new. So many people feel that, in a way, 2013 is year zero. It's going to be the beginning of the new earth. And the new consciousness is already coming in. So, and I think I just touched a little bit on the Earth's resonant frequency is increasing, and at the same time, the magnetic field is dropping. So that's where some people say that there could be a shift in the poles. It's partly what's leading towards what we're all feeling and the intensity, the sped up energy, the Earth's changes. It has a lot to do with the frequencies changing in the Earth. At the same time, the magnetic field of the Earth is dropping. And Don Alejandro, who is one of the Mayan elders and head of the Mayan Council, says, "Do not be afraid of this time. This is just the ending of a sun and moving into a new sun. And, it's a wonderful time to be alive." And some of the Mayans predict in the prophecies that there may be a period of 60 to 70 hours of total darkness around the solstice. It's just something that's been in the prophecies. And what Don Alejandro says is, just meditate. Don't panic. Don't be in fear. And that's the most important thing now during whatever changes we go through on the earth, is to not be in fear, but to trust. And that's one of the greatest teachings the Mayas had for us, was to trust that there is a cosmic plan. There is a divine plan unfolding. And through their calendar, they demonstrated that divine plan. And they showed us that everything is unfolding as it's meant to. So we are moving into a very wonderful time on the earth.